Hi everyone, it's Jake and Nadia. We're back, and this time we're reviewing Promising Young Woman. A really good film, I thought. It's very unexpected. The ending was very unexpected. It's a mix of, if you haven't seen it before, highly recommend, comedy and dark drama. So obviously, as always, we're going to start with a non-spoiler section, then we're going to go into spoilers. So what did you think about it?
I really liked it. It was unexpected, and I feel like for most of the movie, I was trying to figure out, like, what is this going for? Like, is this kind of because it felt kind of campy a little bit, and just kind of like old, like, movie kind of like tropes and kind of celebrating, like, the revenge story. And it advertises itself as, like, a revenge story.
It is.
It is,
yeah.
but in kind of an unexpected way, because it's not a revenge through, like, violence.
It's a revenge through accountability.
It was very well done. I thought the script was really good. It's Carey Mulligan, right? Mm-hmm. I thought she did a really great job, like, dead on the inside, and just, like, putting on this performance when she goes out, and then kind of seeing her personality flourish when she meets this guy who's played by Bo Burnham, who an excellent job just playing the kind of love interest character that you are very suspicious of at first, but you kind of get won over by him. There's this tug of war between the character needing revenge, but it's also kind of tearing them apart.
So let's talk about rating first, and then we can move into spoiler section. So how would you rate it? And if you can't tell in the background, our dogs
They're playing.
This is them playing, not killing each other.
I just see Sedona's butt just sticking out of the frame. I would give it a 8.
And before I rate, I have been accused as a high rater in the past.
Oh, yes.
So with that said, I rated 10 out of 10. I really liked it. Promising Young Woman really starts out in the film. You really don't know what's happening. You see a drunk woman who is passed out almost at a club on a couch, and these group of men are acting very predatory towards her. They are like, ooh, basically insinuating that they want to have sex with her while she's drunk and passed out, which can also be translated as rape. But of course, they don't see it that way. They kind of like, their whole vibe is that it's almost like she wants it because she's drunk and alone and in a club all by herself. Already, you're kind of seeing this rape culture from the start of the film, and it's really hard to watch. You see a guy.
I thought they did a good job with the casting too, because all of the guys who are the predators and rapists, they are portrayed by nice. Likable, also actors who play like likable characters in other roles. Like they're not like some like creepy just like guys in like a leather jacket, you know. They're just like regular guys, and that's I think the point of the movie.
Exactly, is that you don't know like what like the people that you typically think are nice people, or like the quote that everyone states about themselves is "I'm a good person" is not always a good person. Adam Brody, one of the men in the group, offers to drive her home, and at first we think that he's a good guy because he recognizes that she's drunk and disoriented and therefore not able to consent, and he acts like this gentleman guy. But then when they're in Uber or Lyft or whatever, that's when it switches. Seeing how drunk that she is, he invites her over to his place to have more drinks when she's literally passing out drunk in front of him. She goes back to his place, and then he mixes some hard liquor with something, gives it to her, and then starts to kind of subdue her because she can't really consent. She goes, "What are you doing? What are you doing?" It's really hard to watch, and you're pretty sure that he's going to rape her. And he would have had she not pretended to be drunk. So Cassie's whole point is that she pretends to be drunk, and the guys proceed with their actions. She just kind of like says, "What are you doing?" Like very sober all of a sudden, and it shocks the men, and it almost turns them off. It's like, whoa. And then it's like reverse blaming in the sense of, you're a creep, you're crazy, why are you pretending to be drunk? Yeah. And it's like they're not really seeing the fact that
she isn't sober now, and they want her to leave.
Yeah. And I felt like, so she's a vigilante in that kind of way, where she's just kind of puts herself in a very scary situation.
We thought she murdered these guys at first.
We did,
it's
yeah.
implied because you don't know what she does. And that's kind of a tension that goes through the whole movie. You don't really know how far she goes in her revenge.
Yeah.
Also, with like the main plot of her revenge, we don't really know how far she goes. But especially at the beginning, we're like, does she murder these guys? But no, she just toys with their brains and just like manipulates them and makes them like see how they are, I guess, if they're able to in any way. I mean, that's part of I feel like these guys don't learn anything. I feel like they just blame her, but they get a taste of their own medicine a little bit.
Yeah, but I think what she does is she kind of scares them into stopping. He goes, oh, you ruin it for everyone. And then she goes, there are more women like me who will like basically cut off your private parts. She's telling them, hey, stop doing this or else like you're gonna die kind of thing. So it's kind of like scaring them into accountability and I think the movie shows that she doesn't think that they will change. And also the movie at the same time is about forgiveness, which we see when we realize why she's doing it. So she had a friend named Nina who got raped, and it's highly implied that she committed suicide after the rape because no one believed her. Everyone slut-shamed her. Mm-hmm. And
she dropped out.
She dropped out of med school. They both dropped out of med school. So that's hence the title of the movie, Promising Young Woman.
And really they made accusations.
But no one believed. People believed the he said in the he said, she said situation, I guess. And we find out later on there's actually recording of this happening where she was obviously drunk and no one did anything. This video was passed around. People just thought like it was funny.
They all victim blame her.
Even the dean, who's a woman, even Cassandra and Nina's friend in college, who you think that will be supportive of them, but no. The film does this to show that women can be
just as complicit.
Just as complicit as well. Women can be just as complicit, and I think it really does a good job at taking a deep look at just our behavior and what we condone in society.
Everyone, once she confronts these person, they all say, I was just a kid.
I was just a kid. But the thing is, so was Nina. Mm-hmm. And so was Cassandra. Like, Nina.
They were in college.
They were all in college, exactly. But, like, it's like, you were just a kid. If you were just a kid, so was Nina. So guess what that did to her when you used her in this way and made her feel used and made her feel like she was just a dumb girl and she deserved what happened to her. Like Madison and the dean, they both don't even like admit to their part in this whole story.
They get freaked out
until Cassie tricks them into thinking that they themselves were victims. So for Madison, Cassie like hires someone because Madison herself is drunk when she has lunch with Cassie, and she hires someone to take Madison to the bedroom and then just basically do nothing. But Madison wakes up in the bedroom alone and she thinks, oh my God, did something happen to me? I was blacked out drunk. No one was there for me. And then so it's basically to mess with her mind.
However, we thought that when it first happened that maybe Cassie just let this guy take advantage of her.
Yeah.
So we were like, wow, is she really going this far? But you said early on that you were like, no, she's just staging it, and you were right.
No, yeah, I knew that she was staging it because everything that she stated beforehand and she showed beforehand in the movie that she stood for was not to. Yeah, it would make her a total hypocrite, and I don't think the movie would do that because I think it would just then be a twist and not have any
kind of
moral story to it. And then the dean, she tricks the dean into thinking that her daughter is with the same type of men that she believed over Nina, and then the dean admits that on her wrongdoing. So basically it's kind of also taking a hard look that we don't have empathy for women until we're in a situation ourselves, when we have our daughters, when we have our sisters, when we ourselves are the victim of this same rape culture type of scenario. So Jordan, the lawyer, played by
Alfred Molina, Doc Ock.
Yeah.
A lot of good actors in this.
Yeah, yep, really good actors in it. He was a defense lawyer for Al, who was the perpetrator.
And it seems like he worked for a company. Nina. Yeah, it seems like he worked for a company.
He worked for a company that rewarded him whenever a case was dropped. Whenever their defenders, the people that they were defending won, and he harassed and went after Nina until she dropped her claims of rape. And it destroyed Nina, this part of it. So Cassandra visits Jordan, and she's really surprised to see how remorseful he is. Jordan kneels down to Cassandra and says, will never forgive myself. I'm really sorry. And basically, the whole time he is very remorseful. All Cassie wants is for these men and these people who took part in Nina's undoing to take accountability.
I was a little hesitant with that scene in general because it felt like a little too easy of a forgiveness earned. And it was kind of like really kind of strange because the whole movie is like this revenge movie. And then you have this scene that just was very brief, but it's like this guy who did pure evil his whole life as, doing what he did. He did this for multiple people all through the years. And then finally he comes, to a epiphany, I think he says. And to me, it just felt like, yeah, he was suffering. But it's like for Cassie to like forgive him, like it was a very good thing for her character. But it felt like really sudden, like, is he really worthy of forgiveness at this point?
I didn't feel that way at all. I felt like it was a great twist that she actually is not a vengeful person, and I actually think that it highlighted the essence of the story itself.
Well, yeah, I think it was definitely good for her character.
Yeah.
Because she's like on
and it wasn't sudden because you could tell like she was surprised by how remorseful he had to take sabbatical from work because he was lashing out. He had mental breakdown. So obviously like seeing that, how much it's affected him, showed Cassie that it's not just like, he's not just saying this to me right now. He's obviously been going through this for a while. I think Cassie recognized some of that guilt because she herself felt guilty for not going with Nina that night. And I think it felt good for her to forgive him. But also she visits, Nina's mom right after that as well. And she tells Nina's mom, I'm really sorry that I wasn't with her. It shows that Cassie has a deep sense of guilt, and her reasoning for wanting these people, or just men in general, to take accountability, and women to take accountability, is also deeply rooted in the sense of guilt that she feels herself.
Yeah, that's true. And it makes her a really dynamic character because she, instead of just being hell-bent on revenge and, another kind of revenge story, her revenge goes hand in hand with her own defeat, and forgiveness and kind of being able to forgive herself is a big part of that. And she almost finds that, but then it gets ruined. And how does it get ruined?
Freaking Bo Burnham. So
we're talking spoilers now at this point.
Well, yeah, we've been talking spoilers. Are you kidding me? What do you think we've been doing? So
tell me about how horrible Bo Burnham is as a human being.
Ryan,
yeah.
Yeah. And Bo Burnham, oh my God, he can turn from a lovable character to like someone that I just want to smack.
Yeah.
So
he should be in more movies. I wish he was in more movies.
He's a great actor. So he actually is portrayed at first as a knight in shining armor who's not like these other guys. And then we as an audience were like, this is really just too convenient. But then he keeps on convincing us like, no, he's actually a good guy.
He's a pediatrician or like a pediatric surgeon.
He's there for her. He doesn't pressure her to kissing or doing anything with him that she's not ready for. Girl, stop ruining your life for the past. Like, he really likes you.
So we start rooting for Bo Burnham. We're like, oh, like he like just open up. Like he's a good guy. You know?
He like may understand what you're going through. He really, it seems like he's rooting for her because, she, like we stated, dropped out of med school. So now she works at a coffee shop, and he always saw like potential in her that she seems like she didn't see in herself, especially after the Nina situation happened. But then it all gets ruined when Madison feels guilty because she, thinks that she got raped. Cassie tells her, no one raped you. The guy that you thought raped you was actually only took you to a hotel room and let you sleep because you were really drunk. Obviously, Cassie's intention was to make Madison think that she got raped. When Madison thinks that she did get raped for weeks and weeks and weeks, it kind of sparks her memory of this video that was going around when Nina got raped, laughing at her. And guess what? In that video that Cassie sees is one of the guys in the video is Ryan. He didn't like rape Nina, but he was not doing anything either. And it shows that being a bystander a lot of times when you're seeing people like do horrible things is not that much better than being the perpetrator. This is when everything switches. She goes to the hospital that he works he works at, and she threatens him that she's going to
Send the video
send the
to
video
everyone.
everywhere if you don't tell me where Al's bachelor party is, because Al is getting married and living a happy life and all those stuff. This is when you see that he's actually not a nice guy. He calls her a failure, says that he was just a kid and he acts like he didn't do anything.
Well, there's a lot of excuses he goes through.
Yeah.
It's like at first he's like, "Can you forgive me?"
And then when she
like,
doesn't, then his true character
it's not
really
about,
comes
because
out.
it's not about forgiveness. It's about he's scared about getting in trouble.
And then it's also about like reinforcing in his mind this idea that he's a good guy and he actually didn't do anything bad, which is all of the characters at the end. The whole situation where she sees the video where Ryan is part of this whole tragic Nina story reignites her need for revenge. And what does she want to do with that feeling of revenge? She wants to go straight to the source.
So she dresses up as a stripper and goes to their
Bachelor party, which she knows the address from Beau's character, Ryan.
And so she gets them all extremely drunk, and then she takes Al upstairs, which she's very reluctant to do at first, and then she handcuffs him to the bed, and then she starts explaining. And that's when you start seeing him freak out and panic, and he's like, all the excuses, just like the other characters before, except he's even more of like a coward. It looks like she's about to use a scalpel to carve Nina's name into his skin, which is the first sign that she's going to do any kind of violence.
You know, all that Nina had by her side was Cassandra. That's the only person who stood by her, and of course her family, but everyone else, I mean, think about how cruel this is. She was raped. People were laughing at her. People were bystanders. Then there was a video of her rape circulating where people were laughing at her. They called her a drama queen, called her slut, shamed her. The dean didn't believe her. She tried to seek justice. The lawyer threatened her to where she couldn't, she felt like she had to drop it, I guess, or she lost it. And then while Al's life is, he's getting through med school. He's getting no accountability. He's portrayed as a nice guy whose future was ruined, as if her future wasn't ruined by the action that he did. Her life changed from being hers to her ruining someone else's life by accusing him and trying to make him accountable for his actions. People who are accused of raping women, we always say he had such a bright future and everything else. Well, so did the women who are victims, and I think that's what it highlights, She wants to engrave Nina.
Kind of like an Inglourious Bastards kind of thing.
Yeah, exactly. But then this is where it takes another twist that I didn't see at all. He subdues her and he kills Cassie.
He gets out of one of the things breaks.
One of the handcuffs.
Handcuffs breaks, yeah.
And then he kills Cassie.
With a pillow, he smothers her.
Yeah. And we still are like, she can't be dead.
That was a long death. Like it was,
and I think it was really important to show that too.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah. It just showed, because the movie has more of a realistic look at how revenge would be done, in more of a realistic situation. It's not totally realistic, but, and also hey, if he broke out of his handcuffs, and this is probably what would happen, So it was very depressing, and it was really, is this the end for our character? And I think if the movie ended just with them winning, it would be a tough watch, because it would be it would make a very strong point, which it still does, but the movie keeps going, and there's a little wild card at the end. So after Cassie gets killed, we're still kind of unsure. There's no way she's still dead. She is, and then his buddy comes up. It's kind of comical when he comes up, because it's played off very so satirically angry that it's very you just have to laugh, because it's so harsh. Because the buddy comes up and is hey, this isn't your fault. After he finally believes that she's actually dead, and he's just this was an accident, and then. And Al's just not really. And then the friend is again no, it was an accident. You wouldn't do this. It was not your fault. Yeah, and he's just
kind of feels like it is.
Yeah. It's but just kind of how the friends are so part of it, and just allowing this and just murder, you go all the way to this level, and it's still the same kind of as it is with the rape culture, just with murder. It's take all accountability removed, and they take her into the woods and they burn it. Yeah. And which is really gross. I mean, seeing it showed really in detail, her hand is falling out, and he just kicks it back. There's an investigation that the cops do. They talk to Cassie's parents, who say yeah, she's been acting kind of strange. So the cops are kind of cued off to think, well, maybe she committed suicide or something like that. But they do an investigation and they talk to Bo Burnham, who obviously was just dating Cassie, a few days prior. They say, do you have any indication of where she might have gone? And
he doesn't speak up. This is a second chance to speak up, and he still doesn't.
This is the absolute worst thing he does. Where it's like he's totally complicit in all of this because he knows, like, very likely she went out there, something really bad happened to her. He knows where she went, but she doesn't say, or he doesn't say. That was really damning on him. And then it all culminates in Al's wedding, and it's really kind of funny and like goofy, just like a really lame wedding. And then we get the reveal, like an automatic message, scheduled message that Cassie sends to Bo Burnham's character along with a bunch of other people. And we see that she sent the video out to Alfred Molina's character, planned in advance in case something were to happen to her when going out to Al's, which was very smart. Mm-hmm. The cops show up. They find Cassie's body her ashes, because she had a necklace that had Nina's name on it. Not super realistic, but they all get arrested at Al's wedding. Al does, and his friends.
His friend just runs away.
Yeah, his friend just runs away. It was a very cathartic ending. Although Cassie died, she still got justice for those guys.
I really thought the movie did a really good job at showing these dark sides and not like shying away from it. That's really uncomfortable. Like I said, from the starting of the scene where we think that Cassie is going to get raped, all the way up until her death, the way that she died and the way that the audience had to watch like her die and suffer like for a couple minutes straight, I think was very authentic. The movie did a really good job at showing the comedic aspect of it.
Very dark comedy.
Yeah, it's a dark comedy. And I think it did a really good job at showing both. Yeah, I would highly recommend it, like I stated. I hope you liked it too, or if you didn't.
Put your thoughts in the comments below. Let us know what you thought of the movie, and let us know any recommendations you have for us to check out.
Thank you guys so much for your support, and we will see you next time.
See you. Bye.
Bye.